So a couple of weeks ago, I held a last-minute in-person GoHighLevel event, which was 100% free to attend. We didn't charge anything, and we had 35 to 40 people show up in the state of Utah, which was super cool to see. And I told everyone at the very beginning, I went to the front, everyone was sitting in chairs. I brought some drinks for everyone to drink, and I was like, you know what? I have nothing planned for this. I'm not trying to go pitch you on anything. I just want to cover what you guys want to cover and discuss what is most important to you guys, which led to a 3+ hour long Q&A session. We talked a lot about different things on GoHighLevel, but one common question that came up was, Jason, what's the best way to get started with HighLevel? How do I best learn HighLevel for myself? How do I best learn it for my clients? And so because this question came up time and time again, I figured it was probably important to make a YouTube video about this. Not to mention, I know this is a huge need because when I first got started with HighLevel, it took me several weeks to even understand what was going on. There was a lot of terminology and lingo that I had no idea what they were talking about, which over the last couple of years, things have simplified, but it is a behemoth of a software. And so I understand somebody brand new trying to get started, even if you have a little bit of a background in digital marketing, it can be pretty overwhelming. So what I want to do in this video is I want to give a full breakdown, show you guys the fastest way that I would go about learning HighLevel. I want to share with you guys a lot of the opinions that other people that have already been on HighLevel for a while at that event shared, how they quickly learned HighLevel, and so you guys can get a better rundown of how to go through and get started with your own business. And just real quick, guys, before we dive into this, I have nothing to sell you. I don't even sell my courses anymore. I just give them away for free. So if you want that, drop a comment down below. I don't do any coaching programs. I have coaching for my affiliates that I go through and I meet with once a week, and we have other coaching calls. But other than that, I have no upsells, right? I just want to go through and help you guys get started with your GoHighLevel business because GoHighLevel has been such a benefit for me in my life, in my business. So I want to be able to go through and share this with you guys. So with that said, let me just pull up my computer right here so we can kind of dive into the software together, all right? So the first thing, the way that I learned GoHighLevel is I was looking at this and I was getting overwhelmed. They didn't even have this whole launch pad here at the very beginning. It was just like a dashboard, right? And I was like, what is this? What are sub-accounts? Where do we even get started? So I wanted to clear a lot of this stuff up in this video. So we're going to go through the software here in just a minute and kind of step by step because I think that's going to be very beneficial of how to go through and kind of just naturally learn the software. But kind of going back to when I first got in about 2.5 years ago, the way I learned the software is I had a real estate CRM software business before I jumped into HighLevel. And so I thought, you know what? Maybe the best way to learn the software is literally just go rebuild my business inside of GoHighLevel. And that way, rebuilding my business inside of GoHighLevel, I'm going to start to understand how the website builder works, how the sales funnel builder works, how the emails and the text messaging automation, how everything works. And so that was one thing that really helped me out in the very beginning. And then something that somebody shared at this GoHighLevel event, she said when she first got started, what she did, she went to a friend who was a business owner and asked the business owner, hey, what do you need help with? Do you need a website? Do you need marketing? What do you need help with? And they kind of showed her what they needed help with. And then from what they needed help with, she then went in and tried to figure out how to do those things on the HighLevel software, which I also thought was an amazing strategy to go through and get started right away. Now, if you're like, well, Jason, I can't relate to that because I didn't have a real estate software before, or I don't have a friend that's a business owner, how do I actually go through and get started? So the first place that I would start is the Launchpad, because the Launchpad really just simplifies a lot of this stuff down. And so you can kind of understand the tool set a lot better. And this, just so we're aware, this is inside one of the sub-accounts. So a sub-account is where you would either run your business or your client's businesses. The agency admin over here, this is where you can have like the whole agency overlook of see all the different sub-accounts right here. You can go through and set up your SaaS configurator. They're more of like the business administrative things, right? So jumping back over in here, let's just jump into this demo account right here, just to kind of like take a look at how I would get started with this, is I would just start with every single one of the tabs over on the left-hand side. Now, here's a key thing to remember. Simplicity is key. Simplicity sells. If you go through and try to get things complex and try to talk about how smart you are, that's just going to lead to overwhelm and it's going to kill all of your sales, right? So what I tell a lot of people to do a lot of times is honestly ignore a lot of these side menu items. However, we're going to cover them in this video, and then you can choose whether or not you want to ignore them or not later down the road, whether or not they're going to actually be beneficial to your business. Because here's the deal, depending on the business that you're running, you don't need all these different features. There's only a few tabs that I personally actually use in my own business. And then if I was telling somebody to go through and get started with the same exact business, I would tell them probably to use those same core functionalities, right? So first things first, if we start with the Launchpad, because it gives us kind of like the step-by-step checklist to go through and get started, is we go through and look here, okay, download the mobile app, right? And so what they would do is just hit send link, okay, and then you put in your phone number and be like, okay, there's a mobile app. We're going to download the mobile app, and so now I can use a mobile app, and you go through and start exploring the mobile app, touching all the buttons, like playing around with it just like you would a new app, and just seeing the functionality, right? And then you can see the functionality of what it could do for your own business as well as your clients' businesses. So if a new lead comes in, you get a lead notification, or if you send an email or a text, you go through and converse with all the leads that are coming in. So you can then see, okay, I'm starting to get a grasp on how this mobile app works, how this is beneficial to a small local business owner, how it could be beneficial to me in my own business, and then go from there, right? Now, the next thing is we look at Google My Business listings, okay? And all you do is just come over here and click connect, which is going to pop up a Google, sign in, which you just sign into Google right there. And if you're like, well, Jason, I don't know how to go through and get set up with Google My Business. All you have to do, this is one thing that an early mentor of mine told me, because I remember I was like 20 years old or something like that, and I was asking him all these questions, all these basic questions, and he's like, Jason, Google is your friend. Just Google it, right? And this is even before like YouTube was really big. And so honestly, nowadays, I just be like, how to set up a Google My Business profile, and go watch some of these videos that are even put out by Google, because those videos are like 5 to 10 minutes long. You see exactly how to set up the whole Google My Business profile. You do it once, and then you're like, oh, that was actually pretty easy. I can do this over and over and over again, right? And so now we're just kind of going through all these different tools, all these different features, all these different menu items, which we're going to hit all these here in just a second. But this is how I would go through and slowly learn this, okay? And then right here, Facebook. If we want our messages from Facebook to be able to come into the conversations tab over here and have this Facebook integration, all we do is we just connect Facebook, right? And then we're able to go through and see the different functionalities of how Facebook connects. And obviously this is the same type of thing. You just click connect. It has the OAuth, which is kind of like the sign in for Facebook, and you just sign into your Facebook account, which more than likely you're probably already logged in. And so you just hit OK, and you're good to go. You're all set up. Okay. Now, this next one is the chat widget, right? Where if we pull up GoHighLevel.com, just to kind of explain what a chat widget is, and let me just move my head really quick here. Down here at the bottom, this is the chat widget. So basically, most businesses have a website, right? Well, most businesses don't have this little chat widget where they can come in, put in their name, phone number, and their message right here, click send, to basically send out a message to a business owner. So now what you do is you just click on this, and it walks you through a few basic steps of how to go through. You put in your website URL of how to go through and get this set up, okay? So a lot of this stuff, honestly, is just playing around with the software and just seeing the functionalities of how this all works, okay? And then Stripe is another one. Stripe is a way to go through and collect payments. It's the payment processor. So if you want to go through, charge clients, and actually make money, you need to create a Stripe account, which takes about 5 minutes to do, and then connect that Stripe account to HighLevel, kind of just like you would connect Google or Facebook, right? Now, from here, these next couple of items, Yext is what is called online listings, and this is like a third-party provider, which I guess Facebook, Google, Stripe, they're all kind of third-party providers as well. But Yext is basically a way to help with your search engine optimization or your Google rankings. And so what it does is it makes sure that there's accurate information for your business or for your clients' businesses across all the different websites. You're talking about Facebook, Google, Yelp, Foursquare, if that's still even a thing, and all these different websites, because a lot of times either the businesses are not listed on these other websites or the information is not all 100% accurate. And Yext, this is one of those kind of like upsells to a client. So I think it's like $49 per month, and then you can charge whatever else you want on top of that. Is this a necessary thing? Not necessarily. I probably wouldn't even start with this because this is kind of more of that SEO thing. But if you want to go through and learn, okay, how do I go through and rank sites higher in Google with Yext or with online listings? type that into Google, right? Type that into YouTube, watch a video of how it goes through and it actually happens. And there's even people on Fiverr that you can go through and outsource and have them set this up for you. So that is another thing. Just think about, okay, if I don't know how to do it, how can I find someone that does know how to do it? Or if you don't know how to do it, here's some basics of how to go through and learn these different things. Now, WordPress, this is kind of another one right here. WordPress is basically a website builder. It's one of the most popular website builders. Most people have their website on WordPress. And so this was only added about a year ago because so many websites were on WordPress and they want to be able to sync them. And so this also is something that probably is not needed if you're just getting started and if you don't have a website on WordPress, or if your client doesn't have a website on WordPress. And then last but not least, just adding team members. If you have a team member, if you're a solopreneur, like a lot of people get started in the agency space, you don't even need to add team members. But if you want to, come in here, you just add the team member, you send out the invite, and that is basically how that all works. All right. So that is the first thing that I would do. I would go through the whole dashboard. I would set this whole thing up for your own business, and then you're going to start to understand and kind of see a lot of these moving pieces of, oh, okay, that's how this could work for a plumber, electrician, a real estate agent, right? And a lot of these things, if you go through all these, like they're pretty basic in the setup initially, right? Now, we're going to dive into things that are like going to be a lot more intense, which I said earlier, a lot of these things you can just completely ignore because they're really not that important. Okay, so for the dashboard, if you're looking at this and you're like, okay, opportunity status, opportunity value, what is this? Conversion rate, what are all these things talking about? Well, we can go over here and see, well, later on, we've got this opportunities tab. So you might not know what opportunities are quite yet, but what we can do is then go and see, okay, we're going to be hitting this a little bit later in the menu item. Okay, so now, and a dashboard typically kind of is a rough overview of all the things happening in your account. So we can just say, okay, it's probably a rough overview of everything happening in our account. We can just worry about that a little bit later. Then next is conversations. And the nice thing I like about conversations here is that this functions very similar to like an iMessages on your phone or a lot of other conversation tabs and apps. Okay, so that's where it's really nice here. And basically what this is now that we've connected Google, now that we've connected Facebook, and we're going to go through and start sending out a text message because that's probably the first thing a lot of people want to do is send a text message to themselves. Or see right here, I've got this this test email going out to myself. Is this working? Just trying to like go through and play with this a little bit here. That's usually the first use case. So then as you start playing with this stuff and actually engaging into the software, that's where a lot of this learning starts to happen. Because I remember back when I was learning Facebook ads, and this is probably 6-7 years ago, but I was watching all these videos, all these tutorials on how to run Facebook ads. And I was like, okay, I got a pretty good understanding. And I just kept watching more and more and more and just trying to get all this education. And then it was crazy. But the first day I actually jumped into the Facebook ads manager, actually started clicking around, playing around with everything, setting up an ad campaign, setting up my first ad and clicking complete campaign or whatever the button was. I was like, man, I learned more just playing around and going through this one time than I did watching all of these other videos on YouTube or even the courses that I had bought. So that is just always, something I always go back to is you can watch all these YouTube videos, you can go through all the courses, which are helpful, right? But until you actually get in and start playing with the software, it's kind of just like a general idea or concept until you start getting your hands a little bit dirty, right? And so this conversations tab, I like it because it's what they call a unified inbox. So think about like your emails, your text messages, your Facebook messages, your Google chats, Instagram DMs. Businesses nowadays have so many ways that their clients can get in contact with them, which can be very difficult for a business because one business owner might be like all about email, another one all about text message, one all about Facebook. But then if somebody reaches out to them on their Facebook page or Instagram page or whatever it is that they're not continually looking at, it either takes time to go to all these different platforms or they miss it, which is the worst thing because then they're missing out on a potential opportunity where now if we go through and have it all unified into one simple inbox, they never miss another message ever again, which is a huge selling point, right? And all you have to do to set this up is basically go through and make sure they've got their Google account connected, Facebook account connected, got their phone number for the text messaging and the emails, and then that's it. right? And then it's a massive value add. And then we've already downloaded the mobile app. So now they have this unified inbox also on the go if they're like a real estate agent or some type of business that is out of the office a majority of the day. Okay. Now coming over here, we've got our calendars. And calendars pretty self-explanatory. If you've ever used like iCal, like on a Mac or Google Calendars, very similar. You know, you can just set your appointments, your schedule, and go through and have everything. And this ties into basically a calendaring app where you can go through and have a web page where somebody can actually schedule appointments with either you or your clients, which is kind of nice. So there's other tools like that, like Calendly or Schedule Once if you've used any of these. But basically, they're all built into HighLevel itself, right? Now, coming down here to the next tab, contacts. And some of these I'm going fairly quickly because they're kind of like either self-explanatory or they're probably not going to be as important, but just kind of want to give you a general idea on a lot of this stuff going on. Okay, so these are all demo contacts, by the way, so it's not like anyone's private personal information or anything like that. And you can see it's not even really got the name, phone number, just like some emails here. But this is like a full-on CRM. So if you ever use like or heard of Salesforce or HubSpot or any of these different CRMs, there's a ton of CRMs in the real estate space. I know because that's kind of my background. But basically in here, you have all these different contacts and you've got like, you could pop up their conversation, you can add notes, tags, put in all their contact information. You can add custom values of like, say, hey, like if you're in real estate, this person is a buyer. They were looking at this property, a lot of different things. You can add them to different workflows, which are basically marketing automation campaigns. So let's say you want to drip emails or text messages on those people. You could do that. You can add different offers. So what you can do is actually create a membership area. So if you've ever used Kajabi or some of these different membership platforms, Teachable is another one. There's a lot of them out there. You can actually go through and create your own courses inside of HighLevel and then grant access to these courses. You can either charge for the courses or give free courses to these contacts. Okay, so you have this full management system in here. And then even coming back here, you can select either all your contacts or some of your contacts and roll them into one of these marketing automation campaigns, a drip campaign, send an email, send texts, or all these different things, add tags. So there's a lot of functionality, which is kind of like your core CRM or customer relationship management tool built inside of HighLevel, which the great thing about this is something you could basically resell as your own, right? You put your own logo, your own website connected to it, and now you've got your own CRM that you can go through and resell to people. And this is a massive value add for a lot of these business owners. Okay, so opportunities right here. This is one that we were kind of like going back up to earlier. This is kind of like a sales pipeline, right? So all we do is we just start playing around with this, okay? So what we could do is we can say create a new pipeline. So basically, if you've ever used kind of like some of these sales pipeline softwares, you could say like a new lead was created, then they booked an appointment, and you're just like moving them along the stage of becoming a buyer. Or really, you can create a pipeline for whatever. You can even create a pipeline for internal management inside of your company of like, was this person's account set up? Who was it set up by? Was it scheduled? Was the follow-up call scheduled? All those different things. And then create what are called opportunities. Or if you've ever used like a software like Trello, or there's like Notion, there's a lot of these different ones. They're kind of like little cards, like a little note card, where you kind of just move along the different pipelines of the different stages. Okay. Now, over here we have payments, but payments is where you're going to go through and obviously manage all your payments and invoices. You can go through and create subscriptions for your products, send out payment links, obviously have all these different products that you can sell, membership items, and different things like that. So once again, I would just say play around with it. And if you have specific questions, go and either just YouTube them and try to find the answer, or just like ask a question in the community, right? Because a lot of times, a lot of people have great quick answers to your questions inside the community. And once again, one more plug for my free course. Like I said, not selling you guys anything. Just comment down below. Let me know what you think about this video. If you want to, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Do all the YouTube stuff. That'd be awesome. And I'll hook you guys up with that free step-by-step course. No upsells, no nothing inside of that, right? Now, we come over here to the marketing, and this is kind of like your social media planner. So you go through and connect. You can see right here, Facebook, Instagram, Google My Business, LinkedIn, Twitter or X, TikTok, and you can schedule out social media posts. So this is really cool because you can schedule out social media posts for your own business, for your clients' businesses. You can create like a library that you can then go reuse on a repeat basis. So like if there's like real estate content that you want to go and post to social media for all your clients, you can do that and you can get that all set up. Now, automations is one of my favorite things. This is what is known as the workflows. And so this is where you can have different triggers and actions. Now, I know that's probably, if you're not in the marketing world, that lingo can be like, what is a trigger? What is an action? So basically a trigger and an action is, a trigger would be like something that would trigger an action, right? So somebody opted in or they became a lead on your website. That is the trigger. So when they become a lead on your website, what is the action that is going to take place? Well, the action, once they become a lead, we want to send an email or we want to send a text message. Or the action is they watched a video on our website for longer than, let's say, 5 minutes. That is once they've watched it for 5 minutes or longer, that triggers an automated follow-up or an internal notification to let your sales rep know that person just watched it for 5 minutes. You should go and reach out to that person because they are a warm prospect. So there's a wide variety of these different recipes, I think is what they call them, or workflows. So you click on here. I always like to start from scratch because I just kind of like typically know what I'm doing. I just kind of want to go through and play around and create with it. But you have all these different ones, like for appointment booking, appointment confirmation plus reminder. So basically the trigger there would be like somebody booked an appointment through one of your calendar links, right? And then you want to send reminders leading up to that event. Because as we all know, if someone schedules a meeting, it does not mean that they're always going to show up. So we want to send them reminders, reminder text, reminder emails. We've got this birthday template. I know people that charge like $100 per month for this birthday template to different businesses. So it's like that one little specific feature right there could be $100 per month value, right? So which is absolutely insane. So we've got all these different ones that you can just go through. And like I said, get in there, play around with it. So I like to go in here and just like start from scratch. Come over here, this new trigger. What is the new trigger that we want to add? And then we've got, I'm just going to move my face real quick. We've got all these ones. Birthday reminders. So like let's say it's someone's birthday. That is the trigger. Is the date is of that contact's birthday. Then what is the action that we're going to do? The contact changed. Maybe they had a tag added to them. Contacts created. This person said, I want to unsubscribe. Do not disturb me again. Or I think it's DND is do not disturb or do not contact typically. Okay, or a tag is added. What are we going to do? So you can just see all these different things, the events, appointments. We're not obviously going to go through every single one step by step. But then after that, we can create what is the following action that is going to take place from there. Okay. Now, rolling down to sites. This is going to be a big one for a lot of you guys, and this is probably where I would start because typically most businesses, the first thing they need is a website, which over here, you can see we've got not only the side menu items, but we've got the top menu items. And I know on a lot of these other tabs, I haven't gone through all the other top menu items, but a lot of times, like either just jump in and kind of play with them, or like just remember, simplicity is key. And a lot of these things are kind of like not necessary either for your business or for your clients' businesses. And so it's like, it's really the riches are in the niches and focusing in on specific things that are going to actually move the needle for your clients. Okay, so now we've got up here, we've got the funnels, so like kind of a sales funnels, like the funnels have become really popular in the last little bit, or we've got websites. So if you want to come in here, and I was talking to a friend the other day, he came over to my house actually, and we were talking about websites, and he's like, yeah, I don't know really how to build a website. I'm not tech savvy or anything like that. And I was like, oh, don't worry, it's like super easy. Just go in and start playing around. And so basically, the cool thing is here, they have all of these different templates that you can go through and use from. Now, if you're like a web designer, all that stuff, that's your skill set. Obviously, start from blank, kind of like I do with the workflows. But I'd say 99.9% of people start with a template. It's way easier. There's all these beautifully designed templates. There's all these different categories of templates. And then let's just say we're going to choose this one right here. So now it just went through and it pre-built all these different pages. So if you're working with lawyers, with attorneys, all that stuff, you could literally use the same exact template and just kind of like customize some basic things. So if we come over here to edit, I'll just show you guys how easy this website builder is, because I know a lot of people have asked me like, I'm not really good with web design or anything like that. don't worry, that's totally fine. You just hover over these different items. So like for right here, you could just select it all and change this to whatever you want, right? And then if it's like, oh, well, that's kind of going over in his face a little bit, you just come down here, hit enter, and you could just go through and click on any of these things and completely update it. And that is the same for every single one of these pages. And then the nice thing is too, because we had multiple pages here, this is where you go update some of the different SEO metadata, but we can go through and just kind of easily go through the different pages right here, so we don't have to exit back out, come back in. And if you want to go through and see the mobile preview as well as the desktop preview, which is always important to do, you can easily toggle back and forth from there. And then once again, like I said, guys, I know I've said this a lot, but just go around and just play with it. Kind of just see what you could do, add images, remove images, change stuff. And then just by diving in and getting your hands dirty is a lot of times all you need to go through and really learn a lot of this stuff. A few more tabs we're just going to hit really quickly here. Memberships, this is where, like I was saying, like Kajabi, you can go through and create membership areas, digital courses, go sell your products, very similar to Kajabi. And that's where like you can set up the sales funnel to then go sell the digital courses. You have members area, then you have these communities where it's basically kind of like a Facebook group where you can have the group, the community, go through and have all the discussion. But then you can go in toggles from like the Facebook group to like the actual learning area of like the courses, and then they're adding some gamification, calendaring, all that stuff to the communities as well. And then if somebody goes through and completes a course, you can actually create a certificate and give them that certificate for completing the course, which is kind of that nice sense of accomplishment for your clients or your customers, right? And then coming down here, reputation management. This is where HighLevel actually got a huge start with everything, basically automating online reviews. And you can do this putting in the review link with Google. And if you've already connected your Google account, it should automatically be able to go through and connect with that. But also you can throw in a review link for Facebook reviews, Realtor.com reviews, Trulia, or whatever other platform that you want to go through and boost your reviews. And then there's some automations inside of the workflows that you can have these automated review links sent out. And the trigger could be like, hey, this person came in for their appointment, wait 3 hours after their appointment, and then send a text with a link to leave a review. So I know I get all the time, well, are you just like spamming for fake reviews? No, these are like real clients. Let's imagine a dentist has a patient come in and it's inside of their system here, and they came in for a teeth cleaning. And then it knows that like on Wednesday at 9 a.m. they came in for a teeth cleaning. So then the trigger would be like, hey, their appointment's 9 a.m. on Wednesday. We're going to then wait. The action is waiting for 3 hours because we need to have time for their teeth cleaning to happen. And then they get home, and then we're going to send them a text with a link. Hey, by the way, how was your teeth cleaning? Would you mind leaving us a review? Have a link out, click it, and then to go through and leave a review to boost the number of 5-star reviews, which then helps their ranking inside of Google, okay? Which the whole setup, like I said, I go through very meticulously step-by-step how to set this all up inside of that free course, which, you know, I hook you guys all up with that if you guys want that. Drop a comment down below, and I'll get that over to you. Now, reputation. So just so you know, reputation, I never really even use that because that's just not not one of my core things that I'm selling. If that is one of the core things you're selling, become a master at it. Really learn it and really get good at it, right? Reporting, I don't really use the reporting inside of here. This is kind of like your ads tracking and just different things. Call reporting, call tracking. If this is core to your business, then learn it and become a master. But if it's not really like something that's super important, then you can just kind of like just put it out of your head. Just act like it's not even there, right? And then we've only got these 2 last menu items because what I did right here, these are actually external tools that you can add sub-custom menu items to HighLevel. And then you can embed those softwares inside of HighLevel if you want to have different features that are additional features on top of that. So this is one, it's called UpHex. If you guys want the link to that, I'll have that down below. And then this is another one, it's called Shinify, where you're able to create AI short form videos to go through and get more exposure online. But that's kind of like besides the point. So over here, App Marketplace, these are a bunch of bolt-on market or apps that you can go through and connect with HighLevel. Okay, and so you've probably seen this in a lot of different softwares where they've got like, okay, you've got the core app or the core software, but then there's one thing that you need to add on to be able to have a certain functionality, and so that's kind of what this all is. honestly, this is brand new and I don't use any of them in here. And I think, honestly, there's enough features inside of GoHighLevel that you don't need to lead, especially at the very beginning, with other additional apps outside of HighLevel. The only time I would go in and add additional apps outside of HighLevel are when, okay, you've mastered the core things inside of HighLevel and you're just trying to stack on what you already know and what you're already doing. Okay, because other than that, I'm like, there's already enough to learn here that we don't need to go in and learn all these other things. And then the mobile app, clicking in here, obviously it's just going to be kind of the mobile app. You can go through and customize this mobile app, or not customize, but you can white label it. So there is an added fee for that. I think it's like $4.99 a month or something like that. Basically, it's your own logo. Or if you don't want to use or don't want to pay that, there's one that's called the GoHighLevel app. And it's just a lead connector inside of the App Store, which you can see there's the links right there to it. And so that way it's what they call GoHighLevel. So it's not like the HighLevel brands. They don't know that you're using HighLevel, but it's all the same functionalities of everything, but it's under lead connector. Okay. And so that's where you can go through and send out invites to team members and get a link to download on iOS or Android. Okay. And then I guess the last thing we should cover probably in here is the settings. This is just your typical stuff, right? Your business profile, my profile, that's just like you as a person, the company billing, how are you charging stuff, my staff, this is like adding team members and employees, different pipelines. A lot of this stuff is kind of redundant to some of the other things that we've already covered. It's just like there's multiple places to be able to go through and access it. And so once again, if you have questions on this, I would just go through and just click through and play around with it and see the functionalities. And if you have a question like, man, I really need to know how to do this, or this is going to be solving a problem for my business or my client's business, then jump in and start figuring out and going through and setting things up. And just by getting your hands dirty and getting into the software, you're going to learn so much more. So anyway, guys, I hope this was helpful as far as going through and learning the GoHighLevel software. Like I said, if you want that free course, drop a comment down below. I'll hook you guys up. I'm actually going to be giving it out to people even if you're not affiliated with me. I just want to be able to help everyone out, help get started step by step, since I saw that was such a huge need in that live event that I did. Inside that step-by-step course, we're going to go through a lot more of like the step-by-step how to get Stripe connected, the LC email, LC phone number, all those things of being able to text and email. But like I said, guys, the best use case typically is thinking, okay, how do I want to use this for my own business? Or find a friend or find a business owner and just be transparent with them. I think that's probably the easiest thing. And you always want to look like you're the professional at the very beginning. But if you are brand new, I feel like a lot of people are more open to like hearing you out. If you say, look, I'm brand new to this, just trying to learn it. I'm not even going to charge you anything for the first 30 days or whatever, but let's like go through and get you set up. I believe this can help you, and I really want to be able to help you out and help you see results, because if you see results, then obviously it's a win for you, and then it's a win for me because I learned the system as well, and then see what they need help with. And inside my course, not to keep pushing the course, but I talk about a lot of the simple services, even if you have no marketing experience or no tech skills, that I would go through and get started, because they're very simple solutions, take about 5 minutes to set up. They add continue ongoing value to that client with no additional like support or setup or service. Whereas like a Facebook ads, you got to continually set up new Facebook ad campaigns, or you got to know how to set up Facebook ads, or search engine optimization, or doing SEO for clients. You got to continue building backlinks, or you got to kind of know what you're doing, which that stuff goes over my head as well. So I would focus on the very simple things that are actually going to move the needle and start there, and then just slowly expand. And like I said, guys, I only focus on probably 25 to 30% of the features on HighLevel, and everything else, I'm like, you know what? That's not my core use of my business, and so I'm not going to worry about it. They have so many features because they want to have a solution for all types of agencies. And certain agencies specialize in different things. And so depending on what they specialize in, that one feature could be a core feature for their business, but doesn't mean it needs to be a core feature for your business. So anyway, with that said, thanks again for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know down below. Let me know what else you would love to have me cover so I can help you guys out here on this channel. And if you guys would like, subscribe. We launch new videos